ancient voice, whispering from the void, and it chills my lightless heart.
G'day guys, DUCKVILLELOL here. Welcome to another replay we will be having a look at. This is going to be on Lost Temple. It is going to be a couple of big players from our the FXO Shatter the Sky Open, which took place just in mid-January, I believe it was. And the two players we have here, we have none other than FXO mOOnGLaDe. So mOOnGLaDe from, obviously from Australia. I'm going to do a couple of casts for a little bit of a sort of feature thing of mOOnGLaDe and a couple of other Australian players perhaps, because of course we're going to get some support going for mOOnGLaDe. He is over in the GSL at the moment in codename qualification. Not qualification, sorry, he got through qualification because he got seeded and is now in the round of 64. So make sure you jump on board and make sure you support mOOnGLaDe in his ventures over in Korea. And his opponent today, who just scouted that Overlord, which was very nicely done, is not Liquid Jinro. I know it says it here, but it's actually oGsHero. So oGsHero got an invite to this particular competition, and he had to use Jinro's account. So it will say Liquid Jinro, but don't be scared. It is not actually Jinro. Wouldn't that be awesome actually to see Liquid Jinro playing against mOOnGLaDe? Never know, we may actually get it later on in the GSL sometime in the future perhaps. But looks as if we've got Hero actually setting up to go for a Forge expand, I would say. Probably going to chuck that down right now. There it is, bam. So he's going to go for the Forge expand, and it looks as if mOOnGLaDe's going to go for just a pool first, interestingly, and then is going to head over and try and put down his hatchery, but the probe is following him and it's going to give him a lot of grief trying to put it down. The pylon goes down actually from Hero, so Hero is not going to let this hatchery go up down at the natural easily at all. So we will we've sort of got a standard sort of transition for the start of the game at the moment. Just before we get too far into it, I just wanted to mention, as I said before, we're going to do a little bit of a feature on a couple of these Australian players. I'm going to try and get them up in a timely fashion so you guys can have a look, and then you can jump on board, jump on Team Liquid and have a look at how mOOnGLaDe will be going in the GSL once the Code A starts, which shouldn't be too long from now. And make sure you get your voice on there. Make sure you he's on Twitter. Jump on Twitter and you can send some fan tweets to mOOnGLaDe. Let him know we're all supporting him, and hopefully we can see him progress through there. So the probe comes down to try and actually stop this drone that was having a go at the pylon, and the pylon is eventually going to go down, as we can see here, because there are a few Zerglings out there, and the hatchery finally does go down. So we got a little bit of a, as I said, just the one cannon opening here from Hero. He's just going to be opening with that for the moment. His scouting probe's going to go down in a short while, depending on how good his micro is, but it looks pretty decent so far. The Queen's coming across the lender hand, but the Queen is not going to go too far. There she is, bam, lays the smackdown on that probe, and the probe has certainly had enough there. This probe, not really sure what the point of this probe is, because he probably knows that that Overlord was there, so I'm not really sure if this is going to be putting down a proxy pylon. If so, it's probably not the best idea, because as we can see, mOOnGLaDe knew that that probe was there, so hopefully he'll be able to get across there and make sure that any proxy shenanigans are stopped. Looks as if the Zealots, I keep thinking Zealots for some reason, the Zerglings are going to go to town on these rocks. Not really sure what the plan is just for the moment. Maybe he's going to make sure that's open for when he needs to get across to get his third base, or perhaps he's just putting his Zerglings to work. You've always got to make sure your units are doing something if he can. As we can see, these Zerglings taking the Zelnaga watchtowers, giving him some vital map info. And another one, this Overlord, this is not the greatest idea for this Overlord hanging around in the wrong part of the neighborhood. He's going to get shot down by a cannon in a drive-by, perhaps, but depends how it goes. This Queen wants to try and stop this probe, but the probe, we still have this, there's a second probe, guys. It's not the first one coming back to life or anything like that. But this probe's still running around, getting some good intel on what mOOnGLaDe is up to. Hasn't really seen too much, though, of course, because we're still at this early part of the Zerg transition where nothing too much actually happens. But looks as if oGsHero is just going to probe up and get himself all prepared for a little bit of a longer game, and it looks as if mOOnGLaDe may be doing the same sort of thing himself. He's taking this third base across at the side at the 3 o'clock position. He's going to see what he can do from here, perhaps get some more economy going and see if he can power out some units soon. So we've got mOOnGLaDe actually a little bit behind in drones. There we go, he's caught up a little bit. He's got 32 drones at the moment to Hero 34. He's got the extractor up on the second extractor there on the main base, so we may see some sort of tech, and here it is, we do have a roach warren. So we may see some early roach pressure here. Do not be surprised if we see the lair. There it is. Lair's going to go up. I'm probably expecting we are going to see some roach play here. I haven't actually watched these guys, so don't actually think that I'm faking it or anything like that, or I'm just a good actor. But yeah, we're probably going to see some roach speed attack, I guess. We've got one Void Ray out, which is going to nullify that in general. But of course, this Void Ray is also going to provide a little bit of damage to take out some of these overlords that are floating around. mOOnGLaDe's not going to be happy about that. We'll see how he deals with that. And just at the moment there, Hero was actually supply blocked for just a moment, but it looks as if mOOnGLaDe's going to have to get out a couple of overlords himself. He's getting close to his own supply. I would assume there are a few on the way, and none just at the moment, but he's going to have a couple shortly, I would assume. There's two, so he's got two overlords on the way. Having a look down here at Hero's base, he's got a couple of pylons just across the ridge there, just watching out for any sorts of drops or any sorts of nidus worms that come across. The Phoenix is also out. This is a real Phoenix, unlike sometimes where you actually see a fake Phoenix. Will be used from a sentry when you grab Hallucinate. So a lot of players actually use that sort of play to scout out the map, and it looks as if this Void Ray is coming across. We may see a lift on the Queen, and the Void Ray is going to get easily charged off this Queen, and the Queen has no way to fight back. There we go. Level 3 on that Void Ray is going to make short work of that Queen. The Phoenix is also free to kill this Overlord that's floating around as well, so not the greatest position here for Glade. He doesn't really have too much to defend with. He's got one Queen, which is marched all the way over here. Not really sure why Hero wanted to stop there. He should have kept the charge up perhaps a little bit on the Void Ray, but we'll see what happens. We do have another Phoenix coming across as well, so looks as if mOOnGLaDe's just sticking with his Zerglings for now. We do have a Spore Crawler on the way at this expansion. It's going to come up, but I'm not sure if it's going to be in time. If the Void Ray gets charged off this Queen and takes out the other Queen, they may be able to go to town on the drones, but looks as if level 3 on the Void Ray is now done. A second Queen is dead, and now a third one is also going to be going down shortly. +1 air weapons on the way from oGsHero. He's going to have that coming through shortly. He's obviously going to stick with this very heavy airplay. Meanwhile, no roaches out just yet for Glade. He's still sticking... No, he's actually switching over to Hydras. So he's grabbing his Overlord Carapace, which is the for the speed boost for the Overlords, so they don't get easily hunted down by these Phoenix. But the Phoenix are not really too fussed about the Overlords for the moment. They have come across and are now making short work of this Queen, and the Queen is just going to survive, perhaps. No, she does go down. A couple of Hydras coming out to save the day, but it looks as if Hydras are the particular build that mOOnGLaDe's going to be going for at the moment, and we'll see over at Hero's base what he's up to. He's still bringing out a lot of Phoenix, and the Phoenix is still making like a lot of trouble around the map for mOOnGLaDe. It looks as if these Phoenix have spotted this sacrificial Overlord. mOOnGLaDe has sacrificed that Overlord to the Protoss Master, but it looks as if we will see a... This is an interesting transfer here. We've got a paper plane actually transferring a few probes across to the island expansion, which is now being taken for oGsHero. So he's going to have this one up and running shortly, and we will see his Phoenix harass still going around the map here, looking for any Queens which he might be able to pick up and quickly dispatch, and he does have one here, but Hydra's coming across here. If he's not careful, he may lose a few Phoenix, and they do take a couple of shots, but most of them are still alive and with decent health. So the Hydraling army is still gearing up for an attack. I'm not really sure if he's going to be able to head in for anything yet. Perhaps he may be dropping. That may actually be the play that he's going for there. Finally picks off that Zergling, which is holding that Xel'Naga watchtower for a long time, and these Phoenix still floating around, providing a lot of trouble for mOOnGLaDe. So he's got Overlords bunched up in a couple of positions around the map. He's obviously going to try and take advantage of the fact that his Hydras now have a lot of creep to work with. As you can see here, this creep spread has been absolutely fantastic from mOOnGLaDe. He's got two particular tumors running around the map here, just spreading new carpet all over the map. So hopefully we'll see him get some more and get it a bit closer to his opponent's base, and then we'll see him march in with some Hydras and do some damage. but the Phoenix is still flying around, causing all sorts of trouble. We're going to see, let's just actually have a look at the income tab here. We do have 75 probes for oGsHero, so he's got a really big economy just at the moment here. No need to build anymore. I'm not sure if he's actually is building anymore. He is, so not really sure why he's still building so many. That is a huge portion of his actual supply is actually made up of these probes. Perhaps he's just trying to get a lot of money banked up, and then he's just going to explode with a whole heap of units, because just for the moment there isn't really too much here. Apart from the Phoenix, there's really just a couple of Colossi. There is a... no, I thought that was a DT somewhere there. It's just an observer. A couple of sentries, and that is really it. So we'll see if he has something planned, and it looks as if he does. There is actually a warp prism flying around. This may get spotted, and that Zergling may have actually, just that we saw running by there, may have actually seen this warp prism, so we may see a Colossus drop, which is not something we have seen too much of lately. This particular play was actually something that was a little bit bigger during the beta, when it was actually something that was used really well, because if you've got some really nice micro, you can drop out the Colossus and then actually let it shoot, and then pull the Colossus back into the warp prism before any damage can be taken. So it was a very cool tactic. I believe they actually may have fixed that as like a sort of an exploit. But it looks as if the Hydras have moved into the front here. The 4 Colossi actually are at the front here. Corruptor's coming in to ward off those Colossi, and they do indeed do that. The Forge has now gone down, so we'll see if mOOnGLaDe continues to persist with this attack on the front. We want to see a little bit more creep spread, and then he'll have no trouble with pushing in there once he gets enough units at the front. But it looks as if he's not prepared, and looks as if we have a few Void Rays in the army of oGsHero as well. So he's got a few Void Rays here, which is a common standard at this sort of mid-game position for Protoss, is to actually bring out a few Void Rays, because they do a lot of damage once they get charged up, and they can obviously make short work of Corruptors as well. So we will hopefully see that mOOnGLaDe is going to get some counters to that coming up soon, but looks as if for the moment he's got his gold expansion up and running, doing a nice job with his economy here. As we can see there on the tab, we do have mOOnGLaDe still just slightly behind on the economy because of the absolute plethora of probes that have been built by oGsHero. So that's essentially the only reason he's behind. It's actually a fantastic economy with 2,000 to over 700 gas, but not really sure how you can actually counter that in any way apart from doing some probe harassment, but no chance of that for the moment. So mOOnGLaDe going to lose a bit of creep here. The carpeting was not liked by the Protoss, and he sacked that carpenter, and we will see these Protoss forces moving through the middle of the map. I'm not sure if Glade actually knows. There he is. He does know that it's right on his doorstep. These Hydras are going to need to get into a better spot, and we do have a massive attack here in the middle. There is an attack in the main and one of the expansions as well. Corruptors on the side, they're putting down some corruption on those Void Rays. They're going to make out those Void Rays and get them destroyed. Not make out with them, but actually get rid of them. But I'll choose my words a little bit more carefully there. But we do have all the ground forces being destroyed there of oGsHero, and he has lost that one. Let's check what's happening down here in the main. A few Roaches have come out to defend against some Zealot harassment, and it looks as if that is being taken care of nicely. We do have these Corruptors still making short work of these Colossi, though. The Hydra's still at the front. There's not enough to win the game just for the moment, though, but it looks as if he'll have to retreat for the moment just to keep them safe. So we do have some more Roaches on the way as well, which are going to be able to tank a lot of the damage from these Stalkers, and they will need to be careful, though, and not walk up to the cliff like that. But looks as if mOOnGLaDe's not happy with this gold expansion being here, pushing in the front here at this gold, and he has to be really careful because he could get sandwiched at the front there of this this particular expansion. The Forge actually got what's that thing called? Contaminated. I don't know. You never really see that too much. But here we go. We do have a lot of probes coming out. I suppose that's probably the best way to make use of his probes, is to actually put them into battle. Is he actually going to do it? No, he's not. But it looks as if there are so many Stalkers here. But there are still a great concave of Roaches, as you can see here. That was a brilliant surround with those Roaches, absolutely going to town on those Stalkers. And it looks as if Roach is the bug of the day, because the Roaches are now going to march in, clean up this gold, and I would say we are getting close to a very bad position for oGsHero. He's warping in a couple of Stalkers up here at this third base, but it's not really going to matter too much, I would suspect, because there are just so many Roaches out here, and they are going to march through the front here. They're going to try and speed through here, I would suspect, trying to get rid of these Stalkers if they can, And there it is, they have pushed in. They're going to get rid of some of these Stalkers, and I think the Corruptors are going to be able to deal with a lot of these Void Rays as well. More Roaches coming in as well, and I think that is going to be pretty much it, because there's really not too much on the ground left for oGsHero, and there are just so many Roaches coming in now. And as we can see on the minimap, Hive is on the way for mOOnGLaDe, so he's going to have that prepared, and that is essentially going to be it. Some recarpeting going down here with these Overlords, and it looks as if these Roaches are just chasing down these Stalkers. I'm not sure why he's really bothering with these Stalkers. They're all low health and they're going to get killed anyway, but I suspect we'll get a GG in a second. But brilliant play from our awesome Zerg player here from Australia, and we get the GG there from oGsHero, and that was game number 1. We've got a couple more games to go from mOOnGLaDe, and then we'll see who wins this particular series. But great map presence with his creep tumors, as we can see here, doing a great job spreading out the creep, and of course having a really nice economy. And I suppose if you could say anything for Hero that sort of was a little bit weird about that game, it was the probe production. He had so many probes. He's still got more than mOOnGLaDe has at the moment. Obviously the harass causing a little bit of trouble, but it was still a huge amount of probes that were being built there by oGsHero. So that was game number 1. Hope you guys liked that one. Make sure you leave comments, feedback, jump on the threads, on the mOOnGLaDe fan thread on teamliquid.net. Make sure you show your support if you're an Aussie, a Kiwi, or anyone else from around C, or even if you're from somewhere else. If you like mOOnGLaDe, let us know, and we'll make sure that he knows he's being supported by everyone around the world. Thanks, guys. Cheers.